Coming up on Sports Night.
Northwestern basketball looks to avoid a heavy freeze.
We look ahead to Northwestern softball's upcoming season.
And Sports Night sits down with one of Northwestern tennis's premier stars. Brad, we've hit week 6 of the quarter. Midterms are finally in the rearview mirror.
Well, objects on the mirror might be closer than they appear. I mean, it's Northwestern. It's always midterm season after all.
And neither do Northwestern sports, because it's Sports Night
right now.
Welcome into Sports Night. I'm Raj Ganeker, joined by Bradley Locker.
Raj, not sure if you heard, but the Chiefs and 49ers square off in Super Bowl 58 this Sunday.
Can Brock Purdy beat the game manager allegations? Can Mahomes win his third ring? Lots of questions.
I mean, those are all good storylines, but I'm personally more interested in following Northwestern men's basketball's quest for consecutive March Madness berths. Let's see what's going on in the hardwood.
The men's basketball squad dropped to 6-4 in conference play after losing against Purdue in overtime last Wednesday. They look to right the ship with a trip out west to take on the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Wildcats in the Williams Center looking for their first win there since 2021. And they got things rolling midway through the first half here. Ryan Langborg off the handoff, ducks it into Matt Nicholson for the rim-rattling slam. Later in the half, Cats up 4. Boo Buie wins the scramble for the rock, leaves it for Langborg. Pump fake, one dribble, splash mountain for the graduate student. He hit 4 trays in this one. But the Gophers rolled back from the decade deficit. Last minute of the half, Elijah Hawkins sweeps through the lane and swings it to Cam Christie. Bottom. Minnesota hit another 3 before the end of the half too, and the teams enter the break tied up at 27. And Boo Buie clearly did not like that. Agent Zero came out of the half on fire, hitting 2 threes in a row, including this downtown hit. After a back-and-forth battle the entire half, Minnesota made a bold play late. Hawkins to Christie, hits the 3 and puts the Gophers up 1 with less than a minute to go. But the Cats got a chance to send it to overtime. Buie at the line. Does he have ice in his veins? The dribbles, the shot. Yes, he does. We play more basketball. But the Cats got stopped right in their tracks in the final period. Dawson Garcia fakes the pass and gets the wide open 3 ball. He would not disappoint the home crowd, putting the Gophers up 4, and they never looked back. Minnesota outscored Northwestern 14-5 in overtime, handing them their second straight loss in extra time.
It's wild Welsh Ryan night in Evanston. Cats back at home looking to right the ship against Nebraska, still unbeaten at home in conference play. The Wildcats came ready to play. The offense was cooking early. Langborg from the corner laces one early. He had 18, his most points in a game since December. Moments later, it's Boo Buie getting downhill, faking the pass, and somehow getting the circus shot to fall through the traffic, just a sign of things to come. We warned you, Buie hangs one home from the corner, and the Cats were rolling. Now, midway through the first half, Cats up by 6. Ty Berry gets in on the act right here, connecting from the top of the key for 3. How about some defense turning into offense? Rank Mass double-teamed in the post, flips the ball over his head into the waiting arms of Berry, who rips it the other way in transition, goes right through the defense of Tominaga. Can't finish, but Barnheiser there to clean up the mess. That would unfortunately be the last sequence we'd see from Berry. He was pulled from the game due to an injury. But that didn't stop Boo Buie from beaming another triple. Step back jumper in Tominaga's face is cash. He's hitting the Tominaga celly to Northwestern in command at the half. Second half action, Northwestern rolling with Nick Martinelli to replace Berry. He up to the task, hits the lefty touch shot there, and a 3-pointer to add more to his tally for the sophomore sniper, you might even say. You thought we'd stop the highlights with 2? Nope. He gets back to the lane, gets away from his defender, rises up over Bryce Williams for 2 more, powering the Cats to the finish line with 15 all in the second half. Even with a late push from the Huskers, it wasn't enough. Northwestern able to take care of business at home, extending its record at Welsh Ryan to a pristine 6-0 in Big Ten play. And the Wildcats look to make it 2 straight wins at home when they welcome in Penn State on Sunday at noon. What better way to start Super Sunday?
Flipping over to the other unit on the hardwood, the women's basketball squad looked to get back on track themselves this weekend. After tough losses to Iowa and Indiana, Joe McEwen's squad welcomed Wisconsin into the Welsh on Sunday with a plan of sweeping the Badgers. It was National Girls and Women in Sports Day at Welsh Ryan Arena, and no better way to celebrate that than some Wildcat hoops. First NU possession, here's Caroline Lau, dribbles to her right, can't find Casey Harder. So instead she gets the screen for Paige Mott and dances to the rim with the tough lefty lay to get the Cats' afternoon started. Kaylee Walsh denied by Sarah Williams, and the Badgers are running. They get the ball forward, kick it to Williams, and she puts in the easy layup, but Northwestern will be up 19-9 at the end of the first. Into the second, Mel Daly, deflection to Lau, and over to Pina, misses the shot. Lau with the tip, puts Northwestern up by 14. Now back to Lau again. She was cooking in this one. Floater in the lane, a la Boo Booey style, and that is nothing but net. Into the second half we go. Paige Mott battling on the block, 2 dribbles, shoulder into the defender, puts it up off the board with the right, and it's good. And Wisconsin was doing their best to stay in the game, though. Hallie Douglas swings it all the way around the perimeter it goes, and Tessa Grady knocks it down. Last minutes of the third quarter, Lau finds Daly, who is looking for options. Back to Lau, yanks a 3 and knocks it down. Cats go up 52-31. Wisconsin down a lot by this point, trying to make something happen. Ball swings to Brooke Schrammick at the top of the key, and it's good. Last minutes of the blowout now, Schrammick drives, and Mercy has no mercy on her. Huge block by Adam Asayo, and Northwestern would go on to get their best win of the season, 69-43, powered by Lau's perfect 9-for-9 shooting from the field. The team is actually in the middle of their next matchup right now. The Cats are down at the half against Illinois in Champaign, looking to get some revenge after dropping their first matchup in Evanston 4 weeks ago.
When we come back, we take a spin to the J to see what's in store for Northwestern softball.
My relationship with Giannis is unique. We're from the same country, we're from the same city. Being a Northwestern alum, I think, has tremendous advantages in the sports industry. To me, that community, it's been with me for 20 plus years.
Welcome back to Sports Night.
Raj, it's been a pretty pleasant winter here in Evanston. You can almost start to smell the spring flowers.
That's right, Brad. Spring sports are fast approaching, with one of the headliners being NU softball. What can you tell us?
After 3 straight NCAA tournament appearances, Kate Drohan and the Wildcats look ahead to a fresh slate, seeking a return to the College World Series after being bounced by Alabama in the Super Regionals last year. However, things will look different this season, and our own Ethan Siegel has more.
Thanks, guys. It's my absolutely favorite time of the year, and that, of course, is softball time. As we sit here on the eve of Northwestern's opening day, so what better way to celebrate the new season than with a preview of what's to come? And in order to do that, we have to start by talking about what this team accomplished a season ago. Last year was a rousing success for the Cats, who won both the Big Ten regular season and conference tournament titles, hence the 2 trophies you see on the screen. The Cats went a perfect 14-0 at the J, 14 of their total 42 wins on the season. Northwestern had 7 players named to all Big Ten teams and made the NCAA softball tournament, winning the Evanston Regional and traveling to Tuscaloosa, where they gave a stout Alabama team everything they could handle in a 3-game series. And of course, head coach Kate Drohan won Big Ten Coach of the Year for the 5th time in her illustrious career. Luckily for the Cats, Drohan is back this upcoming season, but Northwestern is losing some major pieces for 2024. Talking about losses, you have to start with Danielle Williams, one of the best to ever suit up in purple. You can see here, the stats speak for themselves. 4 first-team Big Tens, over 100 wins and 1,100 strikeouts from the circle. But it's not just Williams the Cats are losing. Jordan Rudd, one of the greatest hitters in program history. Nikki Cochran, Skylar Schellmeyer, Maeve Nelson, all of them finished top 10 in program history in several categories, and each of them started over 200 career games for the Cats. How the Wildcats replace not only their high level of production, but also their veteran leadership and experience will be one of the biggest questions of the season. So with all those departures in mind, who will be suiting up for Northwestern this season? Well, as we take a look at one potential opening day lineup, let's start with the returning starters. Angela Zedak in left field, Kelsey Nader in right, Hannah Cady at third base, and Grace Nito at second will man things down for a defense that was among the Big Ten's best in 2023. Filling in for Rudd's spot behind the plate is expected to be Lauren Saborski. For Cochran at first, Kansas Robinson. For Nelson at short, Bridget Donahue. And for Schellmeyer in center is Ayanna Lindsay. Moving to the pitching side of things, Lauren Boyd, coming off a strong 2.24 ERA season, could help to fill the shoes of Danielle Williams, while Ashley Miller, Cammie Henry, and Lauren Curry round out the staff. So let's take a further look at some of the players who will be the most crucial to the Cats' success in 2024, starting with Ashley Miller. I mentioned I think Lauren Boyd has a good chance to be the opening day starter, but the Michigan State transfer could play a major role for NU. Miller was among the best pitchers in the Big Ten during her freshman and sophomore campaigns, with respective ERAs of 2.56 and 2.33. Last year saw a drop-off as Miller's ERA sank into the fives, but if the Cats can find a way to get the 2021 or 22 versions of Miller, it will be a major boost for the rotation. Angela Zedak is returning for a 5th year in Evanston as one of the veteran leaders of this team. Coming off a 2023 where she had career highs in batting average, hits, home runs, and RBI, Zedak, who was Northwestern's leader in home runs a season ago, seems due for another big season at the plate. And lastly, Kansas Robinson, who was one of last year's breakout sensations as a first year, hitting 9 home runs and adding some juice to Northwestern's lineup, including a game where she hit 2 home runs in the same inning in the Evanston Regional. If she can get her strikeout numbers down a bit and maintain her power, she has a chance to be Northwestern's most potent offensive threat in 2024. Also worth noting, Northwestern has a whopping 8 first years on the roster. If you're looking for a few names who could be this year's Kansas Robinson or Kelsey Nader, I'd go with catcher Emma Ray, outfielder Izzy Cunea, and pitcher-infielder hybrid Riley Grudzelanek. As we look at the schedule, Northwestern will have a tough road to repeating as Big Ten champs, as these teams on the board here are all of Northwestern's opponents who made the 64-team NCAA tournament field a season ago. The Cats, who come into the season ranked 25th in the preseason poll, have 10 games against other ranked opponents, and the Big Ten should be even more competitive this year with the likes of Nebraska, Indiana, Minnesota, and even Ohio State looking to knock off the kings of the conference. Luckily for the Cats, Northwestern doesn't have to take on any teams on this graphic in this weekend in the first slate of games at the Kajikawa Classic, although a rematch with 2022 Super Regional opponent Arizona State is sure to be fun. Brad and Raj, back to you.
Thanks, Ethan. Can't wait to see what Drohan and the Cats do on the field.
After a big season last year, Northwestern's wrestling team was still searching for its first win of the season this week. They got 2 chances to grab a dub against Wisconsin and Minnesota this past weekend on the road. The Cats first ventured to Madison to take on the 8-4 Badgers, Wisconsin trying to avenge their loss to the Cats last January. Getting set here at UW Fieldhouse, and in the 157-pound weight class, Trevor Chumley swoops in for a huge takedown in what would become a 20-5 win over Cody Goebel. And in the 197-pound weight class, Evan Bates overpowers Josh Otto to grab a second victory for the Wildcats, winning 9-2. Finally, Jack Jessen flips over Gannon Rosenfeld in the final match in the midst of a third Northwestern win versus Wisconsin, this time by major decision. And despite that big effort by Jessen, ultimately though, the Wildcats had a tough time overcoming the Badgers' strength and lost 30-12 in 10 total matches throughout the day. And the Cats stayed on the road, going to Minnesota on Sunday. The Gophers are currently ranked 10th in the country in men's wrestling. In the first match, Masi Odiadi grabs a hold of Patrick McKee's foot and manages to get him out of the circle for a huge 3 points. Big move there by Odiadi. Later, Evan Bates is able to wriggle loose of Garrett Joles and counterattacks, earning 2 points the hard way. But ultimately, the Wildcats were unsuccessful yet again, falling hard to Minnesota 39-0 in one of the toughest losses of the season. This is the longest the team has gone without a win in head coach Matt Storniolo's 8 years in Evanston. They have a good chance to get their first team takedown tomorrow against Purdue in Welsh Ryan Arena.
Northwestern men's tennis team won 2 out of its 3 home matchups this past weekend. On Friday, the Wildcats dropped their matchup 4-0 against Oregon, but Northwestern was able to turn the tide on Sunday, winning both of its contests against number 8 Duke. The Cats were able to get out ahead by securing the doubles point. Northwestern managed to win the 2 following singles matches, expanding its lead 3-3, but Duke battled back in the latter half of the match, tying things at 3-3 heading into the final match. The Wildcats, though, came away with the victory in the final singles contest, sealing the win for Northwestern with a score of 4-3. Northwestern closed its weekend with a win over UIC in decisive fashion, winning with a score of 4-1. Our own Matt Saperstein spoke earlier with Cypress goalie to learn more about the tennis team's recent wins. Let's take a listen.
Thanks, Bradley. Joining us in the studio is men's tennis senior Cypress goalie. Cy, thanks so much for coming on to the show tonight.
Yep, no problem.
So the men's tennis team saw a lot of turnover in the offseason as 6 players graduated. Now, as a younger team, Northwestern got off to a rocky start this season with a 1-5 record going into last weekend. But when number 8 Duke came to Evanston, Northwestern didn't back down, winning a nail-biter by a score of 4-3. Cy, how did your team approach this match against one of the best teams in the nation?
Yeah, for sure. So, obviously we started the season off not too well, not too hot. So our coach really made us work hard in practices, really made us understand that the process is everything, not understanding that winning and losing is not like the main thing at the end of the day, but really like giving your 100% in your matches and your practice. And just going about the process of really trying to improve every single day you're on the court is something that our coach really emphasized before our Duke match. And I feel like that really helped us come in with the edge and feel like we have like something to prove in the Duke match, and I feel like that's exactly what we did, and turns out the outcome went our way. So
yeah. And Cy, we saw you as a key contributor in the match, first by winning your doubles match alongside Chad Miller, and then with the score tied at 3, your singles match against Connor Krug went to a set 3 tiebreaker where you came out on top with the 7-6, 7-3 victory. Cy, what helped you edge past Krug to secure the upset win?
Yeah, I feel like, first of all, I feel like the crowd there at the match at the time was quite insane. I felt like there was a lot of people there, more than usual, but I felt like that really helped me really energize myself and really helped me just push myself to the end. And I feel like just having my teammates there cheer me on, having my coach give me advice on exactly what to do, how to play Connor Krug at the tight moments, really helped me really edge out him and really secured a victory. So.
Mm-hmm. Now, Cy, I saw the video of you winning the final point on Twitter, and I gotta say it was one of the coolest Northwestern tennis videos I've ever seen. Now, take me through what was going through your head at that moment.
Yeah, right after I hit that volley winner, I think at 6-3 in the tiebreaker to win 7-3 in the tiebreaker, there was this pure joy going through my head, knowing that we were 1-5 to begin the season and beating the number 8 team in the country. I thought that was incredible, and I really didn't know what to do, so I guess fell to the ground, and yeah, it was a good moment for us.
Yeah, I love that reaction. Now the team sits at 3-5 after wins against Duke and UIC on Sunday, but Northwestern has another big weekend coming up as tomorrow the team hosts number 21 Alabama. What does your team have to do to keep the momentum going against another top-ranked opponent?
Yeah, I think, it starts with the process again. Our coach keeps on emphasizing just really trying our hardest every single match. Doesn't really matter about wins and losses, but really keeping your head in the game and just trying to play the best within your game style.
Well, Cy, thanks so much for coming out to the show, and good luck with the rest of the season. Guys, back to you.
Don't go anywhere. We have plenty of non-revenue sports to recap when we return.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I'm Kelly McEvers, founding host of the NPR podcast Embedded.
I'm James Edwards, host of the Unresolved podcast from Frontline.
I'm Antonia Cereijido, former senior producer of Anything for Selena podcast and current executive producer at Elias Studios.
Raj, we've talked hoops, softball, men's tennis, and wrestling. It kind of feels like we're missing a couple of teams.
Definitely agree. There's a handful of Wildcat squads that we need to get an update on, and they've been making quite the racket. The Northwestern women's tennis team lost a closely contested battle with Georgia Tech on Sunday. The Cats lost the road tilt by a score of 4-3. The Wildcats managed to start the day with a pair of doubles victories, winning their matches with scores of 6-1 and 6-0. NU had less success in singles, though, where things quickly evened out. The Cats dropped the first two singles matches, but Northwestern's Sydney Pratt won her match, knotting the overall score at 2-2. The Cats went into their final singles match with the score all tied up, but couldn't squeak away the victory. With the loss, the Cats moved to 4-2 on the season. They look to rebound during their trip to Nashville, where they take on Vanderbilt this Sunday.
Last weekend, the Northwestern women's golf team kicked off its season in balmy Orlando, Florida to compete in the UCF Challenge, where the Wildcats placed 4th out of 18 teams. Jenny Lee led the way for the Cats, tying for 12th in the tournament with a 72-72-68 effort. Right behind Lee were Lauren Wynn and Jennifer Kai, who tied for 14th. Ashley Yoon placed 45th, and Jai Wang came in 89th. Next up for the Cats is the Moon Golf Invitational in Melbourne, Florida, which will commence on February 18th.
Let's dive right into men's swimming, who took on a pair of Big Ten opponents this weekend. At the Big Ten duels in West Lafayette, the team fell to Minnesota and Purdue. Northwestern lost to Minnesota 150-221 and Purdue 175-197, despite a few individual victories. Andrew Martin took the 1,000 free with a time of 8:52.28, and David Gerchik took the 200 backstroke with a sizzling time of 1:43.89. That time is good enough to qualify for the NCAA B bracket for Gerchik. Connor Morikawa joined Gerchik in qualifying for the B bracket, winning the 200 breaststroke event in just 1:57.11. Things also went swimmingly for Tyler Liu, who won both the 100 breaststroke and the 200 IM event. The swimmers get to dry off for a while, and their next event is the Big Ten Championships, which start on February 28th.
The women's swimming and diving team made a splash in West Lafayette over the weekend. The Wildcats toppled Iowa 194-172, a good way to end the weekend after falling to both Minnesota and Purdue. Isla Spitz continued to drive the competition off the deep end, winning the 200 free and the 200 backstroke. Her times of 1:44.96 and 1:54.27 are both good enough to qualify for the NCAA bracket. Lindsay Irvin also finished the weekend with a pair of victories in the 53 and the 100 free. Her 100 free time of 49.31 also qualifies for the NCAA B bracket. But the 20, 70, 80 free is also a spectacular swim. The Wildcats also took second in the 800-yard and 200-yard relays, as well as the 400-yard relay. They'll be back in action in West Lafayette for the Big Ten Championships. Those will kick off on February 21st and go until February 24th.
Number 8 ranked Northwestern fencing returned to action last weekend, this time playing host. The Cats welcomed teams into Ryan Fieldhouse for the Northwestern Duels Tournament. Northwestern faced off against 10 teams across the 2 days and dominated, coming out victorious in every single match. The Wildcats' first match of the tournament came against number 11 Temple, who they narrowly defeated 14-13. With the clutch 5-3 win from Karina Vasile sealing the deal, Northwestern finished Saturday with additional victories against number 10 Cornell, UC San Diego, number 2 Notre Dame, and number 8 Penn State. Sunday was more of the same for the Cats, with their only close match coming against number 5 Ohio State, in which they won 16-11. Before their match against Fairleigh Dickinson, Northwestern honored seniors Jai Yoon, Soo-Min Liu, Sky Miller, Levi Hugendorn, and graduate student Blodwin Bindus. After defending their home turf, the Cats will travel to Chapel Hill to take part in the Chapel Hill Duels this weekend.
The action doesn't stop here. This is how you can catch the Cats.
Men's tennis goes up against number 21 Alabama tomorrow night at 6 p.m.
Wrestling welcomes Purdue to the mat at 7 p.m. Friday.
And the Lake Show is so back. A sellout against Syracuse on Saturday at noon.
On the other side of the break, we'll check out lots of scintillating plays from those in purple and white this past week.
Trying to work my way out of the prison system was the most difficult challenge of my life. It only became tangible once I became a Northwestern student.
Ready, set, Yano.
My narrative since I've been locked up and kind of made my transition has been like redemption, accountability.
When I come into the classroom environment, every individual that sits amongst me takes education seriously.
Brad, you know, we're kind of like Drake and J. Cole.
Big as the what?
Big as the Super Bowl at last.
Well, the song First Person Shooter would be kind of perfect to overlay with these plays of the week, so let's check them right out. Coming in at number 3, Northwestern's Trevor Chumbley facing off against Wisconsin's Cody Goebel. Chumbley on the attack, goes for the knees and picks up Goebel, flips him over, pins him down, holds him on to the mat for the extra points.
Number 2 from last night, Boo Buie has Keisei Tominaga one-on-one, fakes the drive, big-time step back, and drains the 3 in Tominaga's face and steals his signature celebration on the other end for good measure. Cats roll to the win.
And at number 1, women's basketball at home against Wisconsin, Caroline Lau makes her 9th consecutive shot with this bomb from deep three-point range. She finished with 24 points.
That'll wrap it up for us here on Sports Night.
Be sure to find all of our content on our Twitter at NNN Sports and on Instagram at NNN_sports.
For Bradley Locker, I'm Raj Ganeker. Thanks for watching and good night.